Fihi. Welcome. Welcome back to this channel, to this show, where if you have not noticed, what is happening here is I am going to get you to speak Lojban. I'm not just going to teach you a few things about Lojban and so that you can maybe say anything at all in Lojban. I am going to make it so that you speak Lojban. Keep listening and watching, and you are going to speak the logical language Lojban, an excellent language for logic, and therefore for expressing emotions. Does that not make sense to you yet? It will, once you speak Lojban, the language of logic and emotions and many other wonderful things. A beautiful language that is very useful and easy to learn. So easy to learn. In fact, in this episode, this is a little place where I hid from the monsters for the night one time. The cute word for monsters that you should learn is, there's an old word, she's dahu, whatever. She's dahu, strange animal, but you don't, ignore that. The cool word for monster is monsuta. Monsuta. It's from Tokipona. Inshallah, I was making sure about the word inshallah because it goes with the word ekshallah, clown. Like me inshallah po ekshallah, I pray for clowns. Me inshallah po ekshallah, I sure hope there will be clowns. God willing, there'll be some clowns. Monsuta is from Tokipona. We brought a few words from Tokipona in recent times. Okay. Let's see. What is going on? So how to get you speaking Lojban? That's the goal here, is to get you to speak Lojban. And one part of that is to teach you Lojban words like tutshi, tool, and then tutshi has a short form chi, and then so that's how we got the word lichchi, which is a plicha, plowing, tutshi, tool. Chi, you do need to learn that chi means tool. That will help, but you could learn a zillion things like that without speaking Lojban. The thing that will really make you able to speak Lojban is realizing that Lojban is so much easier than you thought it was. Lojban is the easiest language. Lojban is as simple and small as this tiny, silly little cave I just explored. Lojban is not trying to be complex. You might be, if you learned all of the stuff that we've invented over the years and you see the funny ways that we talk, you might be like, you're trying to be complex. But that's not what's happening. We're not trying to be complex. We just, it just is complex, and some things actually are complex. Some things we're having fun with small amounts of complexity. And, where's my house? And also, well, but the main thing is it's pretty simple, and you're making it more complex. You don't realize that you're making it more complex by a lifetime of having spoken English. And what English does to logic, oh my gosh, it's completely unreasonable. And so, a lot of times, if Lojban is seeming unreasonable to you, it's really English that was unreasonable all along. English is unbelievable. But Lojban is fine. Lojban makes sense. Lojban is simple. I will attempt to convey this to you and to show you how to use Lojban to say simple things. Here is an example of a Lojban sentence. Gypsy. That sentence means chicken. Gypsy. There you go. I have been speaking the Lojban and said that there is a chicken. Now I will go around saying other things in Lojban. I manku, I creep, yi. There's it's kind of a joke to call the creepers creepre, because that means believer. To krishi is to believe. Ah! Yee! Sohime faro, she's dahu shogunta. Imina nershilo she's dahu. Imina nershilo monsuta. They're only monsuta when they're cute. Now that she's dahu, now that they're attacking me. That's not really what monsuta and she's dahu mean. That's just how I feel right now. So, while I'm trying to survive these Shizdahu attacking me, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it because there's so many. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Lojban's easy though. Lojban is like, here's a sentence in Lojban. Shbobo! That means, Lojbanic, Shbobo. Here's another sentence. Terpa, scared. That's what I am of all these Shizdahu. They're attacking me and I don't know how to escape. Escape is Reeveby. Reeveby, escape. They're launching Dante at me. Projectiles. And the Dante are making me sure to hurt. Sure to... I need to eat some nanba. Or I will mrobiho. Can I eat it? Oh, I can eat underwater? That's cute. So, I got too distracted by being attacked by monsters and forgot how to speak the English and the Lojban. But it doesn't matter. Alright. All I need to do to get you to speak Lojban is to explain to you that Lojban is actually pretty easy. It's not even like you're trying to speak English while speaking Lojban. That is your problem. I've diagnosed your problem. I don't know who you are, but that's everybody's problem. That's all of you's problems. All of you's is trying to speak English. Here's how Lojban goes. I bobo, I zampu. That means Lojbanic things. Simple, except that it's good sentences. It's not even like baby talk. It's only baby talk because it's the havla, child words, but the grammar, that is a perfectly mature grammar. You're allowed to have a nice grammar like that. Where is my house? Lomi's Dani Shuzvati Ma. Where is my house? So, alright. Step 1 in speaking Lojban is to be willing to say Lojban sentences. It's step 1 and the last step and you're done. All you need to do is start saying Lojban sentences and you'll be speaking Lojban. Lojban sentences are so friendly and easy and nice, you don't need to put anything in a Lojban sentence. You can just be like, I jufra sentence. Jufra. And there you go. That's me talking about, if I want to talk about Lojban sentences, I can just be like, I bobo jufra. Lojban sentences. I bobo jufra. And so that's, I mean, we call them verbs, now we call them verbs. At first we called them brivla or sebrivla. People would be like, no, you can't even, you're not allowed to say brivla because technically they go with the celebri, so aren't they celbrivla? Well, no, you can say, that's brivla is fine. Brivla, they called them brivla instead of verbs because like they felt special, and they are special. Lojban's so special and different. There's lots of cool stuff in Lojban, and brivla are totally different than verbs. But also, it's just that's how verbs work in Lojban, is how you talk about languages. Languages, in general, you talk about how the languages have every language does verbs differently. And what we call brevla is just how Lojban does verbs. Lojban is so easy and free and lets the verbs do whatever. If you just have a sentence with a verb in it, you're cool. Why not? Why not? Lojban is big on why not. If you can do it, then you can do it. So, I mean, that's sort of why Terminators, okay? That's a way to explain why Terminators. It's because if you can do it, then Lojban will do it. For instance, sticking stuff together. It loves to stick verbs together into serial verb constructs, tanru. And so it will just do that. It will just stick stuff together, and that's some of the earliest errors you will make is someone will say, "Oh, Lojban just stuck your stuff together." Like you might terminate with a K. You gotta if you got something like suhu and then a sentence and then K, then that will then that makes a sentence into a verb, meaning some abstraction that this sentence is a description of it. So then you got a verb, and but like any other verb, it wants to combine with other things. So you might feel like you were done saying the inside of it, and then people will tell you, nope, it's stuck to the next thing. Because in Lojban, you things want to stick together, and they want to be simple. Things are always like, oh sure, that's fine. You left out all you have is a verb, and you left out any nouns. Whatever, that's fine. We'll just assume all of the nouns are something that makes sense. You're good. Whatever, that's fine. Or you can also just leave out the verbs. Here's a perfectly good Lojban sentence. Me. There's a sentence. It's just all it has in it is me. Me, and that's the sentence. I am going to shitka lo nanba. Mi shitka. I shitka lo nanba. I mi shitka lo nanba. So if you say I mi, I do, then we get two sentences. One of them just has me, and the other just has do, you. Two perfectly good sentences. I mi, I do. So you use those sentences if you just want to mention a thing without being clear what you're saying about it, or if you want to answer a question. If somebody asked you a question, you could say the answer by saying some nouns that answer the question. That's a reason. So why not? Lojban's like, why not? Why not let you say a sentence with just nouns? You can say a sentence with nothing. You can just say E. There. A bunch of sentences. Very sentencey sentences. And the problem, so you're like, I can't do it. I can't speak Lojban. I can't make a Lojban sentence. Well, you don't have to put anything at all in your sentence in order to make a Lojban sentence. You can literally just be like, E, and people do that a lot when they're like trying to think of what other sentences to say. They'll be like, E, and just say some empty sentences. It's totally cool. Saying empty sentences is fine. I'm just going to convince you that it's okay to speak Lojban, is the goal here, basically. I mean, I can tell you what words are. I can tell you that fagri is a word in Lojban, but if you don't believe how easy it is to speak Lojban, then you're going to be like, okay, but how do I use the word fagri? Sure, fine, fagri is a verb because everything's a verb, but how do I use it to put together a complicated sentence? Well, I can tell you how to make a complicated sentence out of fagri, but also you made up that problem. You don't need to make no complicated sentence. This is a sentence with fagri. Fagri. It means there's a fire. Fagri. No, all right. So monsuta fagri. That means monster fire. X1 is a fire/flame in fuel X2, reacting with oxidizer X3. Whatever. How do you say oxygen? Kirchno. Lo kirchno shu tefagri. I know you don't need to say that. I know that's. Oxygen is pretty much always the oxidizer in the fires I'm used to. I'm not sure what circumstances that comes in handy. Anyway, that's not the point. We could learn that together if you want. We could learn how to talk about the oxidizer. It turns out that's the terfagri. But mostly, the main thing is, if you just want to say, like, fire, then all you need to do is say fagri, because that's the word for that, for a fire. Fagri. So, and here's a sentence with it. Iti fagri. T means this thing I'm pointing at. This thing here. So there you go. Ti fagri. Okay, now I was going to explain something basic about the Lojban grammar, which is... Oh, I've already been here? Here's something pretty basic about Lojban grammar, which is a simple way to have it work that some people have said, like, why didn't Lojban work this way? We should have it work this way, or they've made their languages work this way, and it's fine. This also works. Another way you could have it work is to have it so when you say a noun, the noun always goes into the first slot. You could, or two different ways you could have it work is you could have it go into the first slot, or you could have it go into the next available slot. So instead of going in order, they'll skip them if they're already full. That's a thing you could do, and Silpahi, I think, recommended that as a way Lojban works. But the thing I wanted to teach about basically all you got verbs and then you got nouns. And we don't really, other than like a few pronouns, all that we have for nouns is that you can take a verb and make it into a noun. So we basically only have verbs, but in terms of what's in the all of the words are verbs. Like fagri is a verb, to be a fire, and jersha, burn, is also a word, to be a burning thing, and all of the words are verbs. So, but there are nouns as far as in a sentence, and the way you get a noun in a sentence, other than a few pronouns like me, the way you get a noun in a sentence is to turn a verb into one. But okay, so the basic things we're gonna have in a sentence are a verb, maybe optional. Everything's optional, and maybe some nouns optionally. Okay, so we're gonna make a sentence with a noun and maybe some verbs. So the most basic sentences you can make, the very most basic sentences you can make are what I was just saying. Like, you can say a noun, say a verb, and there you go. Sentence accomplished. But if you would like a little bit more sentence than that, then obviously the next thing you're gonna do is put a noun and a verb together into a whole nouny verby sentence. And so if you had it so whenever you say a noun, it goes in the first slot, then that would work fine. But one problem with it, one slight disadvantage to it is, if you're considering the different ways it could go, one slight disadvantage to having it go that way is that then putting a noun and a verb together, you're always going to get the same thing. Like if the noun is me, I, me, and the verb is klama, to go, then you're just going to get one kind of sentence. That means I go. Lojban, we've got the way Lojban works, you can either start with if you say a noun first, then it goes into the first place. Like if their sentence starts me, then it's like, okay, first noun, me. But if you say the verb first, then a noun that you say after the verb, by default, you can change it, but by default, after the verb, it will by default, it'll go into the second place, the direct object, the accusative case. Hello. Hello. What, they want Pelgi? Okay, I don't have any Pelgi. Pelgi means page, means piece of paper. There's some beds here. Chicana beds. Will they be mad if I take their stuff? They don't care if you take their stuff. It's not worth anything. I don't even feel, I feel like I should give them something. Imi badunda. I will, apparently they like to have the, so I will give them some extra. So the way we do it is so that if you say klama first, the verb first, then you say, and if you say klama me, then that means go to me. It leaves off the first noun, which you can say later. You can tag it with fa. Fa tags the first noun, fe tags the second noun, and so forth. Is this a composter? I haven't used those yet. So that way, if we make it work that way, then if you just take two basic words like a noun, me is a nouny word, and klama is a verby word. I guess we're all going to say, do I live in this village now? I guess I moved into this village. So me is a nouny word, and klama is a verby word, and then we get to put them together into a nouny verby sentence, either by saying me klama, I go, or klama me, go to me. Yeah, that's right. Yes. If you think about it, it's an interesting language, isn't it? Yes. Actually, I might steal some potatoes. I don't have any potatoes in this world. Patlu means potato. I need to lebna some patlu so that I can plant patlu back. All right. Are they looking? Hoviska? That's a perfectly good sentence. All I need to say is, I don't need to say, are they looking, right? There is no they. All I need to say is, Hoviska? And then that's the equivalent, the word for they is nothing. They're not going to get mad at me, are they? No. All right. I'm just going to escape with my potlu. So, the word for they is just nothing. I mean, we don't have a word for, you could find like a word that's kind of like they, but if you go along like trying to find words that are kind of like English words, you are going to be like you're going to be exploring around obscure parts of Lojban, trying to find things that are like English, which is just as Lojban is so flexible and generous and open and easy that it's confusing you, because when you go to find, you're like, I want to say this in the same word order as English. I want to make it feel like English. Lojban's like, okay, I can be Englishy for you, but that doesn't, you don't, just because Lojban is very accommodating like that, doesn't mean that you really should be speaking Lojban in an Englishy way. You need to be, the easy way to speak Lojban is in a Lojbani way. You can speak Lojban in an Englishy way with great difficulty by learning how to massage Lojban into the Englishy ways of shaping sentences. That will be a challenge, right? So everybody tries to do that first. And that is, you're setting yourself up a big challenge at the beginning, right? You're like, I don't know how to speak Lojban, so first thing, I'm going to learn how to replicate in Lojban the grammar and semantics and feeling tone and rhythms of a strange Germanic European language that's very complicated, right? And Lojban is so accommodating, and Sporida is so nice, and Sporida will just be like, okay, I love you. Let's try to make Lojban like English, okay? But that is the wrong wish. That is not what you should try to make Lojban do for you as a beginning Lojban student. All you need to do to speak Lojban is just learn any verb, right? This srasu, grass, right? And here's a sentence in Lojban. I srasu. Done, right? Or I destroyed some grass. I want to say destroyed that the grass was destroyed. Srasu dastpo. A grass type of destruction. Now, in English, if you say the type of destruction associated with grass, that's like super weird, and talking like that in English is how weird you are trying to speak in I'm sorry to be the one to break this to you, but how weird it sounds to say in English. You can say in English, you can make English sound like go like Lojban. All you have to do is say a destruction event associated with grass, right? But imagine that you didn't speak a word of English, and instead of starting to speak English by like saying like, I hold the cup, I like the show, right? You were like, okay, I'm going to start speaking English. A super basic sentence, of course, is like strasudaspo. So how do you say a super basic sentence like strasudaspo in English? Well, apparently you have to say the tertau is the verb in the English sentence, and then the celtau gets turned into a thing where you say like associated with or something. There's various things that you can say in English to express. I don't know, this English seems really complicated, doesn't it? I mean, we're just trying to say the most basic, simple thing in the world, like limna kershi, and we have to say like to lapno wolf. We have to say like to enjoy, to make use of in a way that's enjoyable, associated with swimming, associated with a swimmer. Okay, to do what is enjoyable associated with a swimmer. There. Oh man, it's hard to say limna kershi in this English. Okay, that's what you are doing, but in reverse into Lojban. You don't speak any Lojban, but you're trying an English sentence like, hello, this is an English sentence, and this is how English sentences go, right? Like, if I start to try to say that in Lojban, I mean, I can say it in Lojban, because I'm fluent in Lojban. I can say, like, they glisho jufra, jeshu simsa lohe glisho jufra, or something, right? But but don't try to do that. Don't try to take some complicated English sentence and figure out how to Lojban it, because that's not even what Lojban is like at all. This is what Lojban is like. Eptula! That means birch tree, okay? Eptula! I eptula! I shiftrishu! Uha! Right? You say a verb, and then you flavor it. Lojban is, I'm telling you, Lojban is actually the best language for emotions. And you're trying to put together like finicky, logic-y things, but like that's more an English thing. English has hard time with logic and puts together logic like a puzzle. In Lojban, speaking in logic is natural and doesn't matter, and everything's unambiguous and very clear, but that doesn't like. So what? The way you talk in Lojban is to just like make simple relationships between things. I mean, you can talk however you want, right? Like once you learn what you're doing and develop a style, then go for it. You should, you know. So the the gypsy shuklama me, right? So all right, the chicken goes to me. So klama me. That's a perfectly good sentence. That means goes to me. So we can we can take a verb and a noun like klama and me and make two perfectly good sentences just by doing the order. Me klama, I go to, or klama me goes to me. I klama me, it they whoever goes to me. You don't need to say who goes to you. You don't need to a sentence like klama me is, when you translate it into English, you have to think, what will I say for a pronoun or whatever for who goes? But in Lojban, it just doesn't say, and you just don't have to say who goes. You can just say klama me, or you can just say klama. But if you want, you can put both the who goes and where they go to. Me klama lo iptula. I go to the birches. Lo gypsy shuklama me. That chicken goes to me. There you go. And then you're like, what do I need to learn next? What do I need to learn next to make Lojban sentences? And I can tell you more things, but I just want you to understand that you are making the problem that I am solving for you. You don't need to make more complex things in order to talk. Here, this is me talking. Imachi, there's wheat. Egypti, there's a chicken. Imachi, Egypti. Itziju, iklamami. Ibevri lo tziju, iklamami. Holding a seed, come to me. Ijersi me, follow me. Ijersi me. That's something that is really how I would talk. This is not just like example baby sentences that aren't really how Lojban works. Even if you're speaking more mature like adult Lojban, what you need to speak Lojban more maturely is mahuvla, adult words. That's my new word for mahuvla is my new word for like the kind of, you need like fancy words that make you fancy, but not fancy sentence shapes. There aren't really like prestige sentence shapes, or like mahuvla aren't like better, but it's better to know both the v'havla, the child words, and the mahovla, the adult words, because if you know both of them, then you got more choices of word. I got a new chicken. Mi spashu rosnino gypsy. I got a new chicken. Or I don't know. I don't even need to say that much grammar. I could say that just makes it all into one tanru and doesn't put any verbs. You don't need verbs, man. I mean, you don't need nouns. All you need is a noun or a verb or whatever, and you're cool. It's way easier to speak Lojban than you think. You can just be like itatpi, itchkana, tired, bed, iniste, istipna, nighttime, sleeping, itatpi, iskana, iniste, istipna. That's me speaking Lojban. That's Lojban, alright? Believe it. Lojban is an easy, simple language that's good for expressing emotions and stuff. Those are the facts.